Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Wilderness Attitude Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Waddell. Appreciate you downloading and subscribing to give us a listen. Really appreciate that. Hope everybody's having a great day. Kick back and enjoy the show. So, hi, everybody. This is Brandon, your host, Wilderness Attitude Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope everybody's having a good week. I'm in between hunts this week, trying to get some work done, and heading back up on the mountain on Friday to go chase some more elk. I did have a great encounter last night on a big muley buck, and I did not get it done. And then I found him again this morning, and his chess game is a little bit better than mine as of right now. So, thanks for joining me. Today, my guest is Phil Uden, and he is in New Zealand, and I find it pretty amazing that it is tomorrow there. And so I don't think I've done a podcast with someone who's already in tomorrow. So, welcome to the show, Phil.
Hey, how you going? Yeah, we come to you from the future.
That's a fact, right? So
Yeah,
tell me
straight
about
up
the
fact.
future tomorrow. Is it a nice day tomorrow?
Yeah, currently it's actually a really nice day. Sun came up, beautiful pink sky this morning. Just my nice morning walk was really awesome.
That's great. So we reached out to you through Instagram. I've been following you for a little while. I really found that a lot of your stuff that you post with your children and you and I'm just fascinated by where you're at. I've never been there. Closest I've been to you is Ireland, and that's still a long way from you. So
Yeah,
I find it pretty interesting, the whole New Zealand thing. I've watched a few red stag hunts with a friend of mine that is putting videos out on YouTube under Gladiators Unleashed. Um, and they did a New Zealand hunt out there. In fact, my producer Kate was out there for that, and that was my first time really seeing some of the country and some of the
yeah,
hunting out there. It's pretty amazing.
yeah. It's a pretty diverse country. You can be well. Currently, right now, my office is I can see the sea from where I'm sitting, and
Right?
tonight I'm going backcountry, and from my house. So it took me 20 minutes to get to here. From my house to get up to what am I going to tonight? I'm going to about 14 or 1500 meters, and that'll take me 22 minutes to drive from my house to get there,
Yeah,
and a
that's kind
five
of
and a half
like I don't have
yeah, five and a half
ocean to
hour hike.
see where I'm at, but I'm kind of down in the banana belt where I can go south 25 miles and be hot, or I can go 25 miles north and I can be at 9,000 feet. So it's kind of the
Yeah,
same cool gig. Now you're in Christchurch, New Zealand, right?
yeah, spot on.
And I was just looking at that on Google Earth, and um, that's a cool little. You're kind of set back a little bit off that cool peninsula there where Akora is, but um, it's just super neat where you're at. You're flat, and then boom, you're in. I mean, how high are those mountains?
The ones
Mount Cook.
to my Mount Cook. Mount Cook's pretty big. Mount Cook's. Oh, give me a second. Mount Cook's about how big's Mount Cook? I think it's 3,500 meters.
Okay.
So 3,500 meters. I don't know what that is in feet, but that's the one that everyone uses to test on to start climbing to go do Mount Everest. So Sir Edmund Hillary used Mount Cook as his training ground, and Sir
Let's
Edmund
see
Hillary is the
here.
guy that climbed Mount Everest.
Right. So meters to feet. So how many meters did you say it was?
I think it's three and a half, 3.6.
So 3,500
It's
meters.
real gnarly at the top.
Yeah, so that's 11,000 feet. So that's right where I was hunting the last two
Yeah,
weekends is 11,500 feet. So
and
that's pretty
Mount
cool.
Mount Cook at the top, it's pretty gnarly looking. You definitely got to be straight up good mountaineer to go up that sucker.
Now you are
No,
a
I,
straight up killer
nah,
mountaineer, are you
nah, I'm
not?
not that good. I just put myself in really, I put myself in really dumb places. I guess it's that typical bravado. I go, yeah, I can get there.
Right?
And quite often I shouldn't go there. Um, but I've done I've done a lot of mountains probably in the last year and a half, 2 years. I don't know why. I just suddenly got this bug where was that no mountain too high bug where I was like, oh, we'll just go up
Uh-huh.
there, we'll go up there, we'll go up there. And I keep going hunting and everyone laughs at me because I'm like, we should go up there. There's no animals up there. I know there's no animals up there, but I just have to get to the top of that mountain.
I just want to go look over the other side,
Yeah, that's
right?
pretty much it. So everyone seems to be using me for scouting lately.
We'll send the
Yeah,
Sherpa.
send the guy that has no brain that just wants to get to the top of the mountain for no reason.
And how old are you, Phil?
I am 33, 34, and 34 tomorrow.
Well, if I was in the future, I could tell you happy birthday already, but I'm not. You're ahead of
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So
So
happy birthday 2 days
yeah,
from now.
cheers. Yeah, so that's the reason why my wife turned to me. She's like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And I was like, "Actually, all I want to do is just head up a mountain by myself."
By
Which
myself. And she's like, great.
what yeah, well, she obviously knows me pretty well, so she's like, "Yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense. You want to do that?"
So you go climb your mountain in the morning, and then we'll go on a date and do our other stuff in the evening, hopefully.
Yeah, well, yeah. So the aim is that I'll head out tonight. I'll finish work, head back, put the kids to bed, and then drive to where we go hunting. Hike up, take 5.5, 6 hours to hike there. Probably get there 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Get a couple hours sleep, and then get up real early, crack of dawn. Get a couple hours of hunting in, and then hike back so I can see the wife and kids for my actual birthday.
There you go. What are you hunting tomorrow?
Tomorrow's reds, so it'll just be spring venison if it all goes well.
Yeah, right on. That's cool. I wish
So
we only have, I mean, we only hunt pretty much everything in the fall here, right? So the only thing we have in the spring here in Colorado anyway is turkey. Otherwise, that's it. We don't even have a spring bear here in Colorado anymore. Um, so everything we
I
hunt
actually
is all in the fall.
I really like your game management system. I had a yarn with someone the other day. I'd almost like to see something similar to that in New Zealand. The tag system's actually pretty cool. We in New Zealand we don't put enough emphasis on game animals because here they're just pests.
Right. Huh.
So there's no incentive. Every farmer, if a deer, a pig, anything turns up on a farmer's land, they're just going to shoot it.
They just drop it. And what do they
Yeah,
do with the?
there's oh, they'll eat it. Oh, 100%
Oh,
they'll eat it. Nothing, nothing in New Zealand goes to waste.
I
Um,
gotcha.
we are very, very backwards. I'd like to say we're probably like 10 years ish behind you guys, pretty much all the time. But I'm going to be honest, that's just the way I like it. I'm an outdoor country lad at heart. I lived in the country pretty much my entire life. Just moved into the city for work. Um,
Right.
all I want to do is just be in the mountains.
So who got you into the backcountry? Who introduced you to hunting or wildlife or being in the wilderness?
The complete opposite to what most people would usually think. My dad is a fantastic man. Dad was a real go getter at work. So it was actually mum that got me introduced to killing animals, which is usually the
Huh.
the opposite to that. But yeah, it was mum.
Wow, that's
She used
pretty
to
cool.
Yeah, she used to take me out of school and be like, "Hey, do you want to not go to school and we'll go hunting today?" And you're as a kid, you're like, "Yeah, let's go do that."
Heck yeah.
Yeah, one of my mates, and I didn't remember this. He turned around to me the other day. He's like, "Do you know my one memory of you is when you turned up and you just shot a goat, and you came down and you had it in the back of the truck, and you were all covered in blood, and you turned up just as school was ending, and you're like, guess where I was today?" And everyone was like, "Oh man, that's not even fair."
Right? It wasn't fair, but
Yeah,
you had the best mom on the block though, didn't you?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So yeah, that's she got me into hunting. Yeah, I really gravitated towards a bow. I was really good with a rifle. And it just the rifle just didn't have the same appeal.
So you were yeah, you mentioned in your notes that you were the captain of your school shooting team with a rifle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So rifle range top score is 101.9, and I used to consistently shoot 101.8s, 101.9s. Um, uh, all the way through high school. Really, really enjoy using a rifle. I guess that's just that thing in New Zealand. You're brought up around firearms. My son, there's photos on my Instagram. My son has been shooting rabbits and things like that with me,
Hmm.
but I mean, he's been doing that since he was
Right.
4. That's
Right.
just what we do in New Zealand.
So your gun laws aren't super crazy there. What are they like?
We we can't have the awesome weapons you have unless you have crazy licenses, ECAT licenses and things like that. You can get almost anything if you want it. You just have to have the right license and pay the right amount of money.
Does that cost a lot of money? Or
Yeah, an ECAT license would be, I don't know what the conversion rate is, but I think it's about $1,000 a year to have an ECAT license, and that'd be to have any firearm. So you could have an AR for that. You're not going to be able to go out and shoot it. You have to shoot it at a range. You couldn't take it out and go hunting with it, but you're allowed it.
so you can't just if you have, you know, 100 acres at your farm, you can't go outside on your own farm and unload a bunch of lead.
No, so well, obviously you can with any other firearm. So all your standard hunting rifles, 308s, 303s, anything like that. That's
Right.
open slalom. You take that, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm building a house. I guess you could say kind of our dream house out North Loburn, which is quite a way away from here. Right, nice and close to the foothills of the Southern Alps. But my neighbor is through and through hunting. Real cool dude. He's the guy I bought the land off. And when you buy a section off someone that's private, we're both trying to figure each other out. And I'm trying to figure
Right.
out if he's a greenie, and he's trying to figure out if I'm a greenie, and we both don't like guns. And then we kind of beat around the bush a little bit and then figure out, we both like guns. And he's like, I'm really happy you can buy the land now because I
Thank
didn't, yeah,
God.
I didn't want a guy living next to me that didn't like guns. It turns out he's got a firing range down the back. He's got a full ECAT license. He's got pistols. He's got everything. And
Right.
yeah, so he has everything. He has lots of land, and he can't go down the back and shoot certain guns on that firing range because he's not allowed.
That's see, that's bizarre to me. Like,
Yeah,
but it's only bizarre because it's different here. I mean, it's probably not bizarre there. Doesn't make sense, but um, if it seems to me, if you have a license to carry that and have it, you should be able to shoot it. I mean, I guess
totally.
what would happen if he used one of those types of firearms to protect himself? Would he get in trouble for that?
No, New Zealand's really weird like that. So if someone broke into my house, I am expected not to protect myself. That's the aim of the police. So really bizarre. If I was walking down the hallway and there happened to be a baseball bat just sitting in my hallway and I picked that up and I smashed them with that, that's legal. But if I had put it under my bed and taken it out from under my bed, so that's I have now decided that that is for defense. Yeah, that's illegal. So I'd have to be really cautious on how I told people I picked that weapon up.
Yeah, your story, right? Well, it's kind of the same thing here. If you have a concealed carry permit and you use it to protect yourself, I mean, there's certain verbiage you need to use to be
Yeah,
able to make sure that it falls in your favor. Otherwise, it could be used as a premeditated type of situation, right? You know
yeah.
that
So
you.
so it's a little bit similar to here.
Although, if someone comes in my house or I mean, if you're a gun owner and someone crosses the threshold in your house, it's fair game.
Yeah, and see that
It's
to me
fair game.
makes perfectly logical sense. I mean, it's
Right.
your house, they're your family, you're going to protect them.
That's right. Yeah. And so it's regardless if I want to shoot them with a bow or I want to throw a rock at them or beat them with a baseball bat, it don't matter.
Yeah,
Even if I want to,
totally.
even at that point I can sick my dog on them and let them just eat them. So but yeah, that's crazy that you're allowed to have all this stuff, but I mean, so it's really, it sounds to me, if I take this right, that they really want you just to utilize that type of your firearms strictly for hunting or target
Yeah,
purposes.
we
That's
are
it.
we're very, very we get away with a lot in New Zealand when it comes to hunting. We're actually very fortunate. I watch a lot of stuff on what's happening in America, what has happened in America.
Hmm.
You guys have so many antis over there. It's quite crazy.
It is.
We just don't really have that here. It's a real foreign concept. You might occasionally meet someone that might not. My wife has a friend, real good friend, who's a vegan, but she does not care about hunting at all. Um,
Right.
no drum. You tell her that her husband goes out hunting. So I mean, here it's not a big thing.
Yeah, see, my wife is not a pro hunter. Um, she eats meat, but she doesn't eat much of what we shoot and bring home. She was raised on some of that as a youngster, and she's just kind of not into it
Yeah,
anymore at all, and whatever. But um, yeah, but she's not an anti, right? She's not she's
yeah,
not against it. It's just she's just not for it. So she, as for me and my kids, she's very supportive of that, and and so we get to go do that and enjoy that. But yeah, I mean, well, and I just talked to a gentleman yesterday. I just got permission to hunt on some of his property this winter, and I mean, he's vegetarian, and he's a veggie, and he's like, yeah, come down and shoot, come down and
yeah. That's
shoot
awesome.
whatever. And I'm like, well, because when I first asked him, I said, well, I process all my own meat. I have my own meat
Yeah.
locker. I do all my own stuff, and I'll bring you some summer sausage or some jerky. And he's like, no, 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 that's okay. And I'm like, seriously, no, I make good stuff. And he's like, no, 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 I'm a veggie. I just don't eat meat. And I'm like, oh, okay. At first, I thought, well, geez, all right,
Yeah.
you know,
Do I suck
both,
that much? Come on, man.
yeah, most people beg me for my summer sausage, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
nah.
No, I'm good.
So, what's the rules on you guys when you harvest animals? As far as what you can do with the meat, does it have to go somewhere, or can you do it yourself? Or
You can do whatever you want. We are really fortunate here in New Zealand. All the stuff that you guys have, all the any infectious diseases, we don't have. We don't have anything.
right,
So to export meat out of New Zealand to say the States, so easy. We've just got nothing. We've
right,
got really awesome biocontrol systems. The guys on at the airports and stuff here are top notch. They really know what they're doing. They just stop everything coming in. We just have nothing. It's really awesome. You can eat anything. You can go out there, you can kill it and just eat it. Doesn't matter.
that's the advantage of an island, right? You have that ability to quarantine yourself in a sense, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. So when we watch stuff happening, anything happening in the world, for example, North Korea, we're always just like, that really sucks for everyone else, but I'm just going to stay here, like you say, on my little island and just stay away from everything else.
And stay safe and clean and
Yeah,
good,
pretty
huh?
much it. Yeah,
So when you were younger and your mom took you out, did she take you archery hunting?
yeah.
Or yeah,
Like I said we always used to shoot rifles with Dad, because Dad just liked rifles, but he never used to really go hunting. I think I could probably count on my hands the amount of times he went hunting. Um, but then I don't know. I can't even remember where I saw my first bow, to be completely honest. I just remember suddenly seeing a bow one day and becoming absolutely obsessed with it when I was a kid. And I must
right.
have been, I think when saw my first bow, I might have been 12 or 13 years old. And it took a long time to save up. With mum and dad, they didn't have much money. There was no way they were going to just give us what we wanted. You had to work for it.
Right.
I mean, I started a paper round when I was probably not much older than that, and I did that 3 or 4 days a week.
Wow.
You're expected to work, which is kind of carried on to what we do now. You work.
Yeah.
But then that meant it was really awesome when I got my first bow. It was an old Fred Bear Path,
Ooh,
and
nice.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I remember going down to the archery shop and getting it, and I was real excited. But I mean, I shot that with there was no sight, there was no stabilizers, there was no arrow rest, there was nothing. You were
Yeah.
just shooting off
It
the
was
shelf.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it was real simple, real simple. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. Killed all my first animals with that bow and yeah, just absolutely fell in love with it. And I haven't been able to get rid of it ever since then. No matter what else I've done a lot of real random things in terms of sports because I'm hyper sporty. I love my sports. I
Right.
just I need to be doing something.
Right.
But every single time, no matter what I've done, I've always either had a bow or I've gone out and someone else has had a bow and I've gone and used theirs and they've always been like, "Oh, you're really good at this." I'm like, yeah, I kind of just keep doing it. And then probably I don't know 4 or 5 years ago, I was just like, right, I've got to a certain age, or I've kind of tried a whole lot of things. I know what I absolutely love doing, and I know what makes me miserable when I don't do it, and I just got straight back into it. And it's so cool seeing how far technology's come since then. It's just everything's so awesome now.
I bet. What compound do you shoot now?
I'm shooting a Arena 34. I just got real nostalgic and saw a guy here was a beer dealer, and we don't really have pro shops like you guys do. Uh,
Right.
so you pretty much you need to learn how to do everything yourself. You need to learn how to tune. So a lot of YouTube over the last 3 4 years of figuring out how to tune bows and figuring out how to do it all yourself. Um, you get really good at learning how to do stuff yourself in New Zealand. Um,
Now, do you have your own bow press and your own fletching rigs and all your own stuff to do that?
yeah, pretty much.
Wow, sweet.
You really learn. You
Yeah.
makes archery really fun because you
Yeah.
know every little bit because
Right.
you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. You have to. I just do it because I geek out on it.
Yeah. See, I listen to podcasts and you hear guys saying, I enjoy this because I'm just a geek and I like doing it. And we're like, oh, I have to do it. I'm not a geek. I just like doing it. I have to.
Right. Yeah. I
If I
just
want
get
to shoot
intrigued
arrows and I
by it
want them to
all.
shoot straight, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
get the intrigued part about it because it's so interesting how even tiny little minute changes just change so much on your setup.
Yeah. Like with our local shop, I mean, that's what we're fortunate to have, right? I can get a hold of Eric and he'll just call me and say, "Hey, I got this in. I got it set up for you. It's on the end of the run. Just go grab it, come and shoot it." And I shoot
Yeah.
everything that comes through. So, I get to shoot. I mean, I don't get to shoot any bears and I don't get to shoot any obsessions. Um, I mean, I'm sure there's a couple more in there, but I get to shoot all the big guys, all the big manufacturers stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and and it's awesome because you get to go play with all this stuff and you get to check it all out. And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I get so far into it till I go down and I do blind bale shooting so I can hear it and I can feel the vibration, and I set my phone up with my little decibel meter so I can listen to the
Oh
shots,
wow.
and then I move back, and then I'm really watching how the bow drops or bucks or whatever, and then
Yeah.
I'm feeling all the different draw cycles, and I'll take a bow and put it at 60, 65, 68, 70, 73
Yeah,
pounds, and
totally.
and where's its best, and then I start, and then which one do I pull up and it's level every time in my hand, and then I start shooting stuff through the chrono, and then I'm messing around with arrow weights, and yeah, it gets a
Yeah,
little out
I
of
do
hand.
that, but I have to do that with one bow because
Right.
I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination. So what one of my mates said to me the other day, he's like, "You just reset your bow up. It seems to be every second or third week. I come out and you've got like new arrows, so you've reset the whole thing up." And I'm
This
like,
and that, yeah.
"Yeah, it's just because I'll see something and especially if you're watching something, you'll say like, oh, that's a really good idea. I should try four fletch, or I should try a slightly
Right.
heavier arrow weight, or I should try this." And you just keep changing things. And because you
Yeah.
keep changing things, you have to reset everything all up again.
Now, do you do it? I'm really bad about changing stuff like 2 weeks before archery opener, or a week,
Oh,
or days before.
totally. Yeah, this is really dumb. I changed some stuff. This was probably about 2 days ago, and obviously I'm going out tonight, so I had to spend it's probably about an hour and a half last night shooting 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, just to make sure that everything was spot on because
Right.
I'm shooting a spot hog, so it's obviously set it up at 20, set it up at 60, and then go and check it all again. Yeah, and I had to go do all that, and I had no sight tape in the end that was going to be absolutely perfect, so I had to make my own last night.
Well,
I mean, how
it's
dumb is
nice.
that?
Yeah, it's nice to know that I'm not the only one. that
Oh, totally.
that there's people on the other side of the earth that are doing the same thing as me.
Yeah, absolutely. I listen to some guys now like I was ready and I've got all this done and I've shot the same setup now for the last year and I'm like, how on earth can you do that? I can't even keep the same setup for like 6 months, let alone that long.
Yeah, I can't even do that with my target bow, let alone my hunting rig, right? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So what was, if you can think of your, I mean, it's hard to do when you're hunters like us, but do you have a favorite hunt? And if you do, can you take me there and take me from the beginning to the end and don't leave anything out? Like, give me all of what you can.
Okay, it depends how squeamish your your listeners are, because I'll go to literally the very first animal I ever killed, because that's really really nostalgic for me, because it was one of those moments that could have turned you off hunting completely, or
Okay.
just because I wasn't very old,
How old were
neither.
you?
I would have been 15, 14, 15 max.
Okay.
Um, and I had zero idea what I was doing. And I went up with mum, and mum had not long broken her back, so she couldn't really do
Wow.
very much.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
she could. She'd gone through rehabilitation. She could walk. Blah blah blah. Um, but so whatever I killed, you're taking that yourself.
Right.
And that was actually that was one of the ones where she took me out of school for it. Um, and we had some. They weren't really neighbors. Probably a good couple K from us. This is when we were living in the country, and they owned property that was on the foothills of the Southern Alps. They had a real bad goat problem, real bad, and
And-
their son had been up lots, couldn't kill anything, and so they said, "Oh, Phil, do you want to come up and try and kill some goats?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome." So mum took me out of school, and we went up to try and kill some goats. Um, I remember it being really, really steep. But since heading back there, I've realized it wasn't really, really steep. I was obviously really, really unfit and really, really little, because I
right.
remember you had to park at the top of this big ridge and you had to walk all the way down to this gully, which is probably really, now when I think about it, it's probably only about, I don't know, 400 or 500 meters down and then maybe that much up on the other side. And it is steep, but
Right.
it's not far. And I remember we scoured that area all day, and just couldn't find anything. And you could look on the other ridges and you could see there was heaps of goats, and they'd just mill around and
Right.
just not knowing what we were doing. I didn't know anything about wind. I didn't know anything about anything, to be completely honest. And
Right.
and finally, by dumb luck, I guess. And remember, this is with a bow again, with no sights, just
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
And
This is just a boy and his stick and his arrow.
yeah, that's pretty
Right.
much it. That's pretty much it. And this is the reason why for me this is it's very nostalgic, because it's been other hunts, but nothing like this that just jumps out of your memory, and you're like, yeah, this was just so good, but so bad at the same time. Um, and so we end up getting on a couple of really good goats, and get what I thought was a pretty good shot off, but it was a little far back. And when I say far back, it got at least one lung and the liver.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but I remember then it ran and it jumped in, and it probably, for me, it felt like miles, but it only really probably ran about 10 meters. And then it got stuck in some brush. And the thing I remember the most, my mum is born and bred in Ireland. So Belfast, Ireland, when all the IRA bombings were happening, she
Wow.
was as
Yeah.
hard as nails. Um, so her first reaction to me is jump on it, stab it.
Right.
And I remember being like, I can't do that. No, I remember being so, it had big horns and I was really scared. That's the
Right.
blunt truth. And so I remember I got another arrow and I put it in it, and it died. It died straight away. And then afterwards, this is the bit that I remember. We were as we were trying to skin it out. This is with the knife that she just told me to jump on it and stab it with.
Right.
We hadn't sharpened that knife. So
Oh.
so something that should have taken, I knew what you field dress an animal now, it takes no time at all. I remember it took for absolute ever to cut this thing up because the knife was so blunt. And I remember turning around to her and saying, if I had jumped on that thing and I had tried and stabbed it, it would have been like hitting it with a rock.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have done anything to it. I remember feeling like this could have been a really traumatic experience as a kid, but it wasn't. It was just part of learning, and it was part of New Zealand. It felt so just felt like something that we just did. And as kids, it was just something that we did do.
Right. Well, it seems like that's kind of that seems like what you're telling me. I mean, like how you don't have many antis and you don't this and you don't that. It's because that is the normal, right? I mean, what you're describing to me is that's how kids grow up, right? Or is that
Absolutely.
changing now?
It is. No, it is changing, and it's probably the reason why I'm I'm so big on taking my kids out, and I'm so big at just that getting my kids out there, if it is with a gun or it's with a bow. I mean, I don't care what they use. I just want them in the outdoors,
Right.
because I do see that it is slowly changing here, and that awesome, amazing childhood that I had, and I did some dumb things, really dumb
Okay,
things.
tell me the
Um,
dumbest. You brought it up. You brought it up. You
oh,
got to tell me the dumbest thing you've ever done then. Without
okay. That's
incriminating yourself.
no, that's because everyone knew this happened. I remember my nanny, which was my great great grandmother, coming over for dinner, and mum and dad had mentioned that they wanted to cook her chicken. So I had a little stick and a bow, and I'd have been five or six. And I remember
Okay.
going out and trying to kill our prize rooster with a bow and a stick. And
Right.
the problem was, is I was a very good shot. So again, I remember this is a kid doing dumb things. I remember I shot that thing quite a few times, and it got it in the head. And I remember Dad had to come out and kill it, because obviously my bow wasn't. It's probably just a piece of bamboo and a bit of baling twine,
Right.
and it couldn't kill it. And I remember them, parents being parents. I remember them being really angry, but at the same time, they weren't angry because they were like, "Well, we did say we wanted to give Nanny chicken, and he is only 6. He kind of is doing the right things." We used to do stuff like that all the time.
Right.
It was
Right.
You lived on a farm. What else are you going to do? I mean, you run around with spears and you try and stab cats, or you make traps and you try and trap chickens. I remember trapping a little baby chicken, and it crushed its head, and I cried.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
just remember, like, because like you knew what death was, but then when it died and something horrible happened, and something disgusting happened, I remember going in and crying, and mum and dad being like, "Well, you did try and kill it." And you're like, "Yeah, well, I suppose you're kind of right. I
Yeah.
did try and kill it."
I succeeded, but now I'm thinking that was a cute little chicken.
Yeah, so things like that. But it's just it's what you do as a kid.
Right. Right. Yep.
It's how you
Yeah.
learn.
We used to go swim in the ditch and chase things around, and I mean it was the same thing. We got a BB gun in our hands and it was game on, man.
Oh
But
yeah, oh yeah.
we sh-
You call them BB guns. So a BB gun shoots little metal slugs.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
we
little
call
little
those.
little copper BBs, like little
Yeah, okay.
BBs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of, to us, that'd be like a slug gun or an air rifle.
Right. Yeah. Air rifle. Same. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. BB guns for us is something that like an airsoft player would use, or something like that. So when you
Right.
guys are always like, I shot it with a BB gun, I'm like, wow, man, you must be pretty awesome if you can kill it with a little ceramic ball. Like, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. They're little copper balls. I mean,
Yeah,
not very big at all, but nowadays they make them now to where they shoot just as fast. I mean, 1,200, 1,400
yeah,
feet per second. I mean, almost what a small 22 rifle shoots.
yeah,
So
totally. They've got some awesome stuff. Yeah, the ones that my kids have got, my eldest, he's got an air rifle. I guess it's kind of more mine than it is his, but that's a 22 caliber air rifle, and yeah, that thing will knock over anything. It's
yeah,
amazing what that can take out.
Yeah, exactly right. And that, I mean, when I was younger, we didn't have that. We had the pump, pump, pump. You know, you pump
Yeah,
it 20 times to try to get it to shoot faster, but it really never shot any better at 20 pumps than it did at 10. But you thought if you could muscle through
yeah,
it, you might be getting more power out of it, right?
yeah,
Now,
totally, totally.
now you brought up the airsoft thing, but you didn't do the airsoft. You were a professional in Australia in paintball.
Yeah, well, yeah, as professional as you can be. I mean, I still had a full-time job, but yeah, I played in the professional division in Australia for a number of years.
Uh huh.
That that was a bit of a ride, eh? I had a really awesome coach, who's now of all things, that coach of mine is now in the Philippines, training all of their soldiers to do that, take on that whole drug cartel thing. So he was a
Wow.
bit of a nutcase. Yeah. So
Well, then he's fitting in just fine.
he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. John O'Clark's cool dude, real cool dude. Um, but yeah, I probably did that for 7, 8 years. Started in amateurs the way most people would. Went up through in the semi-pros, got into pro. I guested and played for a number of teams, but in the end, there's not very many corporate sponsors in paintball. I remember one event sitting with a couple of the lads sitting in a hotel working out how much money we just spent for a year, and I was like, oh, I'm done. I can't do this. This is
Wow.
too much money.
See, and
So
I don't think in the states that we have any amateur professional type of situation. It's just something that people do for fun. Yeah, I
oh no,
mean,
you
you could.
you guys do.
Do
You
we?
guys do. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You
No
guys have got
shit.
some. Yeah, you guys have got some awesome teams. Some real awesome teams. Just go look up NXL or PSP.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you
I'll
guys
have
have
to
got
check it
some.
out.
You
I
guys
guess
have
that
got.
just
That's the kind of paintball we used to play. It's pretty intense. You have to be real fit, like real fit. Games can end in 6 seconds.
right. Well, so where did you? I mean, I guess that gives you a lot of tactical experience, maybe even along the lines of some military tactical stuff. I mean, it really carry over, would it or would it not?
Uh it's not really. It's more sports. Like I said, the team that I got involved with, the reason we did so well is because we were all just really sporty. Um,
Right.
and we'd come up against a lot of teams that'd be like what you say with the whole airsoft thing. It seems to be a whole lot of the airsoft guys all just want to be military guys. Um,
Right.
we weren't want to be military guys. We were sports dudes. We just wanted to play sports.
Right.
And we were all, I captained a whole lot of teams when I was at school. I played every sport under the sun. I played Colts, which is so a really, really high division of cricket, random things like that. I just love sports.
Right.
So you put me in any sport with any team, and I just want to play.
You
So
thrive. Yeah.
I love it. I love that. I love the team environment. I love just being. I want to say to someone the other day we were yarning about because I haven't played professional paintball in probably 5 or 6 years now, and they were asking me what I missed, and I was like, I don't miss the actual game. I miss the camaraderie, and that's what I love about
Right.
hunting.
Right. Right.
I love the camaraderie. I loved going away on tour and getting on a plane. And we went on a plane once, and the plane ends up circling straight after it got out of the airport, and everyone's like, "What's happening?" And me and my brother look at each other, and we're like, "Oh, the plane's broken." And this lady next to us is freaking out. And we have to fly out over the sea, and it has to dump all its fuel, and then we land. And there's like ambulances and everything parked down the runway because they thought we were going to crash. And all we did was we just had a few drinks and got a layover and just had a good time. And the other things you remember, and had nothing to
Right.
do with the sport. It was just you got to hang out with a whole bunch of cool dudes. And
Yeah.
and hunting to me is just it's exactly the same. I get the exact same. What did I say? I got. I have a. I've posted on Instagram a couple of times. I've had some health issues recently, and they recently figured out that what I've actually got is I have. Well, I think it's adrenal fatigue. So I run. I guess I basically run on the red line too much.
Gotcha.
I push myself a little bit too hard, and I don't know when to stop. I just keep going. Um, but for me, that's hunting. It's that buzz. It's the
Yeah.
rush, and
Right.
because you go from doing sports and you want that rush. Like paintball, it was that 3, 2, 1, go, and on that go, you just had that that adrenaline hit. It just went, and hunting is like that all the time. You
Right.
just when you're out in that backcountry and say, like I said, I put myself in dumb situations. This was probably a good couple months ago, and I was actually talking on my phone on top of a ridge, and I obviously wasn't paying attention. And then I looked behind me, and I'm like right on the edge of some massive big chute, and I'm like, oh whoa, oh that could have been real bad. And the person on the other end of the phone's like, what happened? And I was like, I just suddenly realized I'm like standing right next to some chute that goes down, say, I don't know, maybe 1,000 feet,
A
and you
long way.
just yeah, a really long way. And it's that. It's the
Yeah.
I,
Well, you
I,
know,
I love it.
I, I can resonate there because 2 weeks ago, I'd went in the backcountry and I was coming out by myself because I was coming back out to go watch my son's football game.
Yeah.
And I'm making moves out of there. I kind of overshot the trail, so I'm cutting back, and I finally get back to the trail, and then I'm like, I lost some time, and I know I'm running late a little bit, so I decide to cut down and save myself, 100 yards
Yeah.
or something stupid.
Yeah,
And
that
I
story.
cut I cut down this deal, and I'm calling my wife because I'm like, hey, I need this and I need that. Bring it. I forgot to
Yep.
pack it, and I got my sticks in this hand, right? And I'm coming down, and I slipped, and I went for this. I slipped with my left foot, and I was kind of going to roll into this ravine that was 4 to 6 feet deep, and it would have been fine. I'd have just rolled into it, but then I went for the save, right? And so I
Oh
got the
yeah.
save, the infamous save. I got my right foot up, saved myself, and then when I lifted my left to replant it, I caught my toe with my right, and I ended up going head first into the ravine.
Oh,
And
I saw
and
that photo.
it, yeah, I ended up with 5 staples in
Yeah.
my head, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
God dang it, man. You just like you say, I got on the phone.
Yep.
I got on the phone, and it's like everything checks out. All the stuff that you're
And it
supposed to be paying attention
and
to.
it does. It does. We should just never go on our phones in the backcountry.
I know. Yeah, but I don't know. I like it. I just got a Garmin in Reach.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard that good.
Yeah, and so now, and what's cool is you can Bluetooth it to your phone, and so you can use
Yeah.
your phone to do all your stuff, and you can look at your map, and you can look at everything on this big screen versus this little tiny screen, and when it's all through satellite, and it's just slick as shit. I'll tell you that. But,
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot about
but,
them.
but everybody can find you.
Yeah, and that's bad.
So it's kind of cool, but now you're talking about camaraderie in your sports and stuff, and I think that I agree with you a ton. I mean, that's something. Now I did team sports for the most part in high school, but until I got to high school, and then I just swam in high school. I went out for football, and it was very apparent to me by about the third week of 2-a-day football camp that I was no longer big enough to play
Yeah.
in high school. I was a little dude, and I'm pretty sure I had more concussions in that 3 weeks than an NFL player has his whole career. And
Them feels.
I mean, I literally was in a daze for 3 weeks straight. And I mean, about Monday, I felt like I was better. And then I go out there and get racked all day again. So,
Yeah.
um, but when it comes to the camaraderie, I think you're right. And now I only have, I have a small group of people that I like to hunt with, right?
Yeah.
Some people I've hunted with, we just don't communicate the same. We just don't have
Yeah.
the same push, like you say, like going to the top of the mountain. I've got a couple people that I love to hunt with in the lowland stuff or muleys because that's kind of a good speed for them and me. But
Yeah.
then I've got guys where when I go to 12,000 feet and I see an elk a mile away and it's a bruiser and I want to go, then we look at each other and we're like, gone,
Yeah.
right?
Go.
And we'll
Yeah.
run it. We go. It doesn't matter if it's freaking 2,000 feet down and 2,000 feet back up, and we just go.
Yeah.
And now I saw your post the other day, which I thought was just freaking awesome. Your NZ Niff. What's his real name?
This is gold because he turned around to me and he's like, "Please don't mention me." um,
Well, it's okay. So
New Zealand Niff. So his real name is Matt Clark, but everyone knows him as Niff. My wife didn't even know his real name, and it might have even been until we were married. I think someone might have turned around and said something about Matt, and she's like, "Who's Matt?" I'm like,
right.
"Niff," and she's like, "Oh, I didn't realize they actually had a name."
Oh, you always thought his name was Niff, huh?
Yeah,
But I loved your post the other day. How you're giving him shit about his birthday, he's an annoying hunting partner, all this stuff, and he missed, and he almost killed you, and then in the end you're
oh
like,
yeah, he
no, and
did.
all jokes aside, seriously, love you, mate, happy birthday, dickhead. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a you know by that post that this guy right here is your bro, hands
Yeah,
down.
he is quite literally. So two of my best friends in the world are definitely my brother and Stephen and Neff. And Neff to me he is just another brother. He's the brother that I never wanted, to be completely honest.
The brother from another
But
mother is what we call him
yeah,
here, right?
totally. And he's when you've got a brother, you can just even if you absolutely hate them at that moment, it doesn't matter. So I I told someone not long ago that I was going hunting, and he hadn't really been hunting before, and they thought I was going by myself. And I've told him the story so I can say it. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going hunting." Blah 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 blah. Where you go? They said, "Where you going?" And I said where I was going. I was going pretty high. "Oh, you're going by yourself?" And I was like, "No, no, no. I'm going to take Niff." They're like, "Wouldn't it be safer to go by yourself?"
So he almost killed you
Um,
that day. What happened? What happened when he almost killed you that day?
so so he has just got into archery. There's a little tiny little short video, just a minute long video on Instagram that I put up of
Okay.
me what happened. But basically, he hasn't been doing archery very long. He's probably more of a gun guy, but he loves the idea of shooting a bow, and he's actually getting pretty good. He's getting pretty proficient. It's real fun watching
Awesome.
someone learn and watching them get better. It's just real cool. Um, but we'd been hunting, and that day I just went, no, I'm not doing any shooting. We were just after goats, and I was like, I'm not doing any shooting. We're just going there. I took a bow, but we're just going there to try and get you a kill, and got him in some really good spots, a couple real good ones. First one was for him a long-ish shot, being not archery shooting very long. Might have been between 39 and 46-ish yards. So
Okay.
for him, it was a pretty long shot, and it was a straight up miss, just like straight up miss. And then we got in some more again, and this time I was like, okay, this again. I said this to him so I can say it. I just literally went, if he can get there, I'll get there easy. So I'll just follow along behind him with the camera. So I
Right.
follow along behind him with the camera, and I'm filming him, and he gets right in. He ranges it. He's probably 19 yards, and he misses completely again,
Oh my
completely.
gosh.
And I'm just like, oh no, oh
He's
no.
got the fever.
Okay,
He had the
yeah,
fever.
and
Shaking.
it was 100% that. It was 100% that. So then I turn around to him. I'm like, okay, look, they're gonna because goats seem to do the same thing. They're gonna run away and then they're gonna double back. They do the same thing every single
Yeah.
time. They run away and they
Same that
double
mule
back.
deer do with us. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna end up being behind you. So I turn around to him and I was like, look, man, if you go down that side of the ridge, go all the way down to the bottom of the gully and come back up, you're literally going to end up straight on top of them. And he's like, okay, okay. I was like, run, like, and he's really good like this. He has phenomenal mental toughness. This dude. I mean, I do a lot of cardio, and he'll keep up with me. He's way taller than me. He's like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
So
He
he'll,
looks pretty lanky in that picture.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, man, he can walk, that guy. It's actually frustrating going downhill because his strides are like, I don't know, it feels like 2 meter
He's just
strides downhill.
he's just pulling away.
Oh yeah, I'm just like uphill's completely different. Uphill, I'll absolutely smoke him because cardio comes in, but downhill, I'm like, oh man, this sucks. But
Right.
anyway, so he goes downhill, comes back up, and I turn to him and I'm like, I'm just gonna pick up all the gear. So I'll pick up all our stuff. We didn't have much, but I was like, I'll just pick up all our gear. So I'm gonna walk back that way and I'm gonna get it all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He says, no problem. I was like, so just remember, this is where I am. He's like, yep, sweet as. So I pick up all the gear. I do a quick video to put up on Instagram of picking up the gear, and I'm just wandering through, wander back, and then I see him, and he's in these trees, and he's looking for something, and I'm like, oh, did you get something? And he's like, nah, I lost my arrow. And I was like, oh, did you miss? He's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, maybe you go down there and you see if you can shoot something. And I was like, oh, I'll quickly walk down the ridge. So I walked down the ridge, and they were all gone. And he'd told me that he tried to shoot a goat on a rock. And so I walked down, they're all gone. So I come walking back up, and then I look at where that rock is, and I'm like, wait a minute, that rock's right there. So I walk up there, and he's still looking for his arrow, and I'm like, dude, you said it was on that rock, yeah? And he's like, yeah, it was on that rock. Dude, your arrow's not there. And he's like, yeah, no, it'll be in here. No. That arrow is going to be about 200 meters that way. that 200 meters that way, that's where I was standing. And he's like, oh, is it? I'm like, yeah. So we wander out there, and in the video you see, we find the arrow, and it must have gone above my head by 5 to 10 meters max.
Oh,
and it would have gone,
man.
It would have gone directly above my head. But being the sick people that we are, in all honesty, man, I just laughed because
yeah. Well,
I
what are you
didn't
gonna
die.
do? Yeah, what are you gonna do? You gotta laugh.
Exactly.
Right?
So we had a real good laugh about it. He made some jokes like, oh man, I missed heaps, but I nearly got you mounted on my wall. I was like, F you, man.
Have your head up on a skull hooker on the
Yeah,
wall.
exactly. So I mean, we had a good laugh about it. And again, he's learning because the next trip we went on, he was better again. The next trip we went on, he's better again.
Sweet.
He hasn't killed anything yet, but he will. He 100% will.
He will.
He has that drive, and he has that thing that you need to have as an archery hunter. You have to have it.
Yeah.
You got to have that ability to. I'm going to be honest. If I go out tonight and tomorrow is a complete bust and nothing happens, I don't care. I might hike for 10, 11 hours, but I don't care. I do this because I absolutely love it, and I want other people to realize how awesome just being out in the outdoors is.
Heck yeah, right? I'm the same way. I sat on a pond on Sunday morning, hiked in 3 miles on this little spot, thinking I'd find a muley or a bear or something, and I jumped a mule deer and didn't get a shot. I played chess with him for a little while. He wouldn't come out of the Quakies to give me a shot, and I ended up on this pond, and I sat on that pond. I listened to a few elk bugle. They were just doing some locates. They weren't really communicating too much, and then I sat there for 3 hours, and I was just like, yep, I could start every morning just like this, like this. And I even went in with just a single layer on, and it was a little cool, and I even got a little cold, but I didn't care because it was just like I was waking up with the world, with nature. I was waking up in the wilderness, and it was awesome. Well, and the other thing for an archery hunter, right, like you're saying about the mental thing is that you got to be able to miss, evaluate, learn, and move forward. If you stay stuck in that, like, oh my God, I can't shoot, I missed, I blah blah blah, then it just negativity just brings you down, right? And it just ruins your hunt. And so I'm the same way. I think that most archers that are really passionate and really love what they do love the outdoors. They do love hunting. They do love the challenge that you present on yourself, the challenge from the animal. The challenge. Yeah, the challenge from the wilderness, the challenge from Mother Nature. I mean, it's all wrapped up into this thing that is amazing, right? So,
totally. And we do dumb things to ourselves because, I mean, tonight I'm going to go in so light. Why? Because it's more fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just do it.
Go do it. Challenge it. Try to be the most minimalist you can be. Be light, be fast, and hopefully be a good shot, right?
And that's it. And like you say, it's not dwelling on it. When every single person is going to miss at some point. If you tell me you haven't missed, you're lying, or you haven't shot enough,
or you haven't let it fly when you should have let it fly. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Because in anything, in any sport, in everything you do, there are going to be times when something doesn't go right. That's life. That's what makes life awesome.
That's right. So let me ask you a question. You've spent a lot of your life in the wilderness. in the outdoors.
Yeah.
What what does it what does the wilderness mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Going to get a bit spiritual here because that's just who I am. To
Okay, give it
me,
to me real.
I go I go out there and I sit on top of a mountain. I'm getting almost shivers when I talk about this now. I sit on top of a mountain and I look out there and I just go, man, how can someone not believe there's a God when I look out there and I see all this amazingness? I just can't understand how someone could believe that it just happened. Like it's absolutely amazing. I get up this morning and the sun's rising, this beautiful pink sunrise, and right now the Southern Alps are covered in snow. So if you've ever seen New Zealand, the Southern Alps are massive and they just dominate everything. And I look out
Yeah,
there and the sun's coming up and they're just the white has gone pink and then it starts going orange and you watch it. And when you're up there and it looks like that, I mean, I'd just get up just to see that. I mean,
right.
even if I wasn't hunting, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to get up more because I'm hunting. But that's just sitting sitting in our native bush, listening to everything, the way everything talks to something else, the way the water moves, the way the trees. It's almost like the trees talk to themselves. It's absolutely amazing. I just
Right.
I can't get enough of it. Ever since my earliest childhood, whenever everything was going, if anything went wrong in my life, I there's this mountain called Dock Rock in Oxford, and I just walked to the top of that, and I'd sit there. I remember sitting there in a snowstorm. I remember literally this massive snowstorm, and I just huddled up in this little cave. Mum and Dad knew where I was, and I just sat there for hours. I can't even remember what happened. This is the cool thing. Like something really bad might have happened, and I don't remember what that was. But what I remember was just feeling like when I'm up there, nothing matters.
Right.
Doesn't matter at all.
So that's your place. I would take it. Is that your place?
Yeah, totally.
I
If
mean,
I'm
if you had to pick anywhere, if you, right now, if something tragic happened to you, is that where you'd go? Where's
I
your
could
spot?
I couldn't go there anymore because that's now private land, and
Uh,
so I couldn't go to that exact spot. So that kind of sucks because that was the spot that I absolutely loved going to. Um, right now, funnily enough, there's actually a photo I keep looking at, and that I put up, I don't know, a couple months ago, and it's a place called Mount Grey. It's a little bit more open than I'm used to, but I don't know why,
mhm.
but that place just calls me. It's got awesome 360 views of just everything. So there or Leeds Valley, I, I absolutely cannot get enough of it. If like I said, if something goes wrong, that's where I'm going to be. I'm
Right.
just going to head back there, and I don't care if I just sit there I can sit there all day, not
However
do
long it
anything.
needs to be. Yeah, it doesn't need to be a time. It's just however long it needs to be.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's it. And so I'll just go back there. I'll have a yarn with God about what's happening or what I think needs to change. Not that we can change anything, but you know what I mean. You
Yeah. Yeah.
just what I do.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I really appreciate you sharing with us. I mean, um, I guess if you get a chance to take a picture of the Alps or a video like you're talking about and post that somewhere, I would really love to see that.
Yeah, well, I should get a good one because where I'm going tonight, it's just it's in the foothills, so it's still tall for foothills. I mean, it's above 1,100 to 1,200 meters. So we will. So when you say foothills, it's more like foot mountains.
Right.
Um, but that leads on to like this massive, big open valley, which is private land, the open valley. But then beyond that's the Alps. So the aim is that I should get some cool photos tomorrow morning, probably after the hunt, because I'm just going to go to a spot where I know we've seen some really good deer in there before, a couple good stags and a whole lot of hinds. Um, I'm not picky this weekend. This weekend is just, it's, in all honesty, the bow's coming with me this weekend because I'd be silly not to take it. But in all honesty,
Right.
I'm really just going out there because I want to go out there.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. And that's when you're going to see the biggest stag of your life is because you're
Yeah.
not going to hunt, really. You're just going to hike and go check
Yeah,
it out and have a great birthday, right?
yeah, totally. And because someone asked me the other day, they were like, they saw one of my Instagram photos, and they were like, "Do you take your boat like on every hike you go on?" And I'm like, "Man, you got to be in to win."
Yeah, that's right. Well, even when I do training and things like that, I mean, I take it because you're carrying it. I mean, if
Oh,
you don't
totally.
carry it, then when you get
Yeah,
to hunting season, your hand hurts, your wrist hurts, everything hurts because you didn't work on carrying it, right? So,
yep. And that's it. You have to train the way you're gonna hunt.
that's right. So, hey, so you do a lot of CrossFit, cardio? What's your gig?
So I'm really weird. I absolutely love lifting weights.
Yeah.
That came about from playing paintball. So I'll lift weights probably 4 to 5 times a week, long as work permits. Um, and then in terms of cardio, it's chuck a really heavy pack on, like I don't know, 25 to 40 kg, which I'm not really sure. I think it's close. I think 40 kg is close to 100 pounds or something like that. And then I will either walk stairs or I will, if I have better time, I'll just, there's a couple of really good spots out where we live right now. There's just a decent hill and I'll walk up and
Hmm.
back, up and back, up and back. And I might do that. I got a Fitbit, which will tell me how many stairs I'm doing or how many flights of stairs. And I'll probably do 100 to 200 in a day. Just make
Wow.
sure that I bust the legs out and really, really hurt them.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's how you build them. You got to break them down to get them bigger,
Yeah,
get them
totally.
stronger.
So yeah, I'm very obsessed with that kind of stuff. With health issues lately, I think I've been a little bit slack. That's mainly because everyone tells me to slow down. But I'm really bad at slowing down.
Yeah, I think you are. I can picture that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look at my
Oh,
hands. I've been playing with this stupid paperclip the whole time, and it's something
yeah.
everyone tells me I got to stop doing just because I can't stop moving,
You need a
which is
fit.
really funny when you're hunting.
You need a fidget spinner, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
crying out loud.
that'd look real good on here, wouldn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what. You're an inspiration for what you're doing, and at your age, hopefully, you can slow it down a tad and still feed your energy. And
Yeah.
what do you use for? Do you use supplements? Do you use proteins? Do you use any stuff like that in New Zealand?
Yeah, yeah. So I got a really cool dude, Muzz Coates. I used to train with him lots. He owns a supplement company called Body Core. So I just get all my stuff from him. So it's just the standard. It's whey. It's all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Whey, glutamine, creatine. All those
Yeah. Yeah.
teens, all that
The
kind of stuff.
teens.
Yeah. So that's pretty much just, and I do exactly the same as anyone else does. It's I guess trying to put on muscle. I'll bulk and then cut, bulk and then cut. Um, my brother's actually in the middle of $1,000 competition right now, so it's quite fun to watch him because he's trying to cut as much body fat as possible, and he hates it, so it's quite fun to watch. I like watching other people in pain.
So, have you ever heard of train to hunt?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool. You guys have got some really cool stuff over there.
You should do one over there.
Yeah,
You
we
should
actually.
do it.
I
Create
don't.
it. Make
I,
it.
I don't know if there'd be the same demand because we're really weird here. Um,
Okay.
Literally, so what's one of the sayings of the company? So, hunting and fishing in New Zealand, their slogan is "out there doing it." So, and
So
that's it. That
they just want
everyone
they'd
just wants
rather
to.
just but they don't ever want to test themselves in a competitive nature.
No, they just want to do it,
Okay.
and that's 100% it. And that is
Well, but
everyone in
you
New
guys
Zealand is.
but
Yeah,
you get to hunt, but you hunt year round.
yeah. So, and that is probably the big difference. You guys have a season, we don't. So now,
Right.
since it's coming up spring for me, I can go hunt whatever I want. So I've got a tar hunt in October
Yeah, so you just
because
go do
the
it. Like you
yeah,
say, you
well
just can go do it.
yeah, and the rut for tar is October, November. So we're going up. We'll go up probably late October, and then we've got another deer hunt probably straight after that. And we can hunt whenever we want. And so
Wow.
for that, it'd be pretty hard to get someone to want to test themselves because they're like, well, I might be going hunting next weekend, so I
Yeah,
don't want
see,
to
and
test
for
myself. I don't
us
want
it
to blow
all
myself
happens
out.
Yeah, and see, for us in the States, there's not a lot of hunting in the summertime. So that's when we're training, that's when we're doing our stuff, and then
Yeah,
that's when we go test ourselves to see where we're at and have fun in, the camaraderie and the competitiveness and all that. And it kind of tells you where you're
yeah,
at, a month or two prior to when you're going to go to Alaska and hunt. So you
yeah,
totally,
totally.
yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Don't bother. Just go hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. If you can hunt, why not? And that's just the way everyone looks at it here. I can hunt, so I want to go
Right.
hunt.
Now, I got a question because I'm interested. I don't know if when I'm going to get to New Zealand, maybe someday, but um, do you have to have a guide in New Zealand to go hunt if you're from out of the country?
No, no, no. We have so much, as you would say, public land. We call it dock land. We have so much of that in New Zealand. Where I'm going tonight is just all public land.
Right.
And like I said, that's everywhere. I mean, yeah, you can go to a safari park, you can go to anything like that. We've got those.
Right. No, no, no. That's
And
not
if you,
that's
and
not up my
yeah,
alley. Yeah.
no, totally. And if you want a monster, that's where people are going to go. Public land, it's never going to be the same class of deer as what you'd see in an Instagram photo. People are like,
Right.
man, look at the size of this thing. It's an absolute toad. And we'd look at it and be like, yeah, dude, that was high fence. There's absolutely no
Yeah,
way
that
you
was
shot
high
that on public
fence.
land in
Right.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
there's absolutely no way.
I was looking at some guy on here online. I don't know, it's alpine hunting, and I was looking at another one. It was Shane Quinn, Alpine Hunting New Zealand, and they were going through some of the stags and some of the elk, and it was like, I mean, you guys have 450 plus elk in there, and I mean, there's three different classes that you can hunt from him, and I'm like, there's no way, right? I mean, it's the same as here in Colorado, so
Yeah,
a good bull in Colorado, I mean, a good bull's around 300 inches. I mean, in 260 to 320. I mean, a good bull. I'm gonna shoot it.
yeah,
I mean,
totally.
but there are places that you can go to and get in the 350 to 370 and things like that. But otherwise, you're gonna go to a different state where the winters
Yeah,
are less and whatnot, and then you can get in some 400s, 450s that are public land, but they're
massive.
not. But
Yeah,
but even then, there's one lucky son of a bitch that's going to get that bull, and there isn't any more of them in that area, right? I mean, there
yeah,
might be two bulls that big in the whole thing, and by that point, they're so stinking smart that
yeah. They have to be.
it's hard. It'd be a rifle hunt or just the right place, right time archery hunt where you just
Yeah,
perfect in the rut, perfect setup, everything's right. But
yeah.
um, so any Joe Schmo can cruise to New Zealand and buy a tag and go public land
No,
hunt.
you don't even need to buy a tag. There's no tags here.
Well, you just
You
fly
just,
there and you just go march in the woods
you
and
just,
start
you
shooting
just,
shit.
yeah. You got to know where to go. Don't be wrong. You got to know where to go.
Right.
Um, because remember, because in New Zealand everything in New Zealand is pressured. So because there is no season, every single animal here is going to know what's up. If they smell
Right.
humans, that's bad. So you're not
Yeah.
going to get that. I guess in the States, you guys have that. It's almost downtime. The animals get a little bit sloppy because they've got a bit of
Yeah.
time where
Mm-hmm.
they can cruise
Mm-hmm.
around and be like, oh, no one's hunting me. We don't have that.
Right.
If humans are bad because the animal here is a pest. Everything here is introduced. The only thing we really
Right.
have in New Zealand is birds. Really, we don't
Right.
really have any actual game animals. All the tars introduced, chamois introduced, reds,
Yeah, it
samba,
was
everything.
all, I
Everything's
mean, everything
introduced.
from like 1860 to 1915, everything came
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah, totally. So it does mean you need to know what you're doing. You need to know where you're going.
right. Well,
So so local knowledge.
I really thought it was awesome when I was reading up some that Theodore Roosevelt brought 20 elk to the southern end of the country as a
Yeah,
gift.
Fjordland. Yeah.
And now how many elk are there in New Zealand now?
Oh no. So elk in New Zealand, they don't go so well. So Fiordland, where we've actually that's the only place where we do have a tag system. Because they're trying to build the herd up. Because the
Right.
problem is with the elk is reds are hyper aggressive, and in effect the reds beat the crap out of the elk, and then they breed. yeah, they breed, and we end up getting hybrids.
Right.
So what we're trying to do down in Fiordland is we're trying to actually get pure Australian elk, what we call wapiti,
Right.
here again, because
Mm-hmm.
it's really difficult. So yeah, down in Fiordland, in my mind, is probably the most beautiful place in New Zealand. It's really savage. I think the last time I was down there, I remember talking to one of the guys, and they were saying no one's lived down there for more than like 15, 20 years. Um, it's really untamed. It's just New Zealand the way New Zealand used to be. It's a rainforest in effect.
Wow.
Um, and it's vertical, really, really vertical. There's places in Fiordland that no one's ever been. Um,
Wow.
but there's a reason why no one's ever been there.
Right.
You
Okay.
can't yeah you can't really get there because you can't
Right.
fly a helicopter in because it's too misty or it's rainy all the time. There's nowhere to land. It's just too thick. So
Huh.
and then you'll get bluffed out because it's huge. It's massive.
So that's where
Very
so
first time we
that's where King Kong lives.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that is on my list of places I must go hunt. Is Fiordland, but that again, that is a tag system,
Right.
and you do have to you've got to put in for that. That's the only place we have that in New Zealand is in Fiordland, but it's something else. It's absolutely something else. If you see photos of New Zealand, 9 times out of 10, the photo you've seen is probably from Fiordland.
Gotcha. So have you ever hunted outside of New Zealand?
No,
No.
no, no. I absolutely love to. But there's just so much for me to see here.
Right.
Um, I'm well, you'd call it a patriot there. I love New Zealand. You could say I'm absolutely obsessed with it. There's nothing about this country that I don't like. Um,
Right.
I like the fact we're backwards. I like the fact that just my kids get to grow up walking down the street and doing whatever they want, and no one's going to do anything to them. I mean, it's
Right.
changing a little bit, but I love that, and I love the fact that we can go do whatever we want whenever we want.
You are surely blessed to have that and to have the lifestyle that you have there and to be able to raise your kids that way. I mean, it's surely a challenge here in the States to disconnect your children and it's when we were growing up, not having cell phones, not having all that stuff, and playing in the
Yeah,
ditch and shooting BB guns and doing all the stuff that we did. It was amazing, and um,
wasn't it?
it's it's kind of like pulling teeth to get your kids here to go do that shit now. But I know that there's
Yeah,
times that I've made my kids do it, and in the beginning they're not happy with me, but in the end, they've told me that it was the best spring break they've ever had, or
yeah,
that it's something they'll never forget. um, but it is surely a challenge. Um, so you really should embrace what you got going on there, Phil. It sounds pretty cool, and um, maybe one of these days we have to get you out of there and bring you out here to Colorado and let you hunt some
absolutely would
purebred elk.
love to go to Colorado, man. I see photos of that place. I'm just always like, man, I see photos of you've got deer basically walking across the road, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so cool.
Oh, there's deer right here in town that are huge. I mean,
If
they
they were
got
here,
and
man, they
they'd
get
be
shot
dead.
off. I mean,
Yeah, see,
yeah, they'd
we
be
got
dead. Someone would
bears.
have shot that and eaten it.
We got bears. We got so many bears right now. It's unbelievable. And in town, I mean, did you see the video I posted of that bear sitting above the dumpster at the Sonic drive-through last
Yeah.
week?
How
Yeah.
weird is that?
Yeah. Dude, he's huge. He's huge, but we
Yeah.
can't do nothing about it. Until he screws with enough stuff, they won't
Yeah.
euthanize him. They won't move him. They won't they've learned now that moving him doesn't do any good. They know north, south, east, and west, and they just go right back to the dumpster. Even if you take them 50
Yeah.
miles from here, they know where the Sonic dumpster is.
They know.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. Me and the wife came to dinner a week ago on Thursday night or whatever, and we were cruising into town, and there was 4 bucks crossing the road, and they didn't want to cross the river, so they came up and went across the bridge, and then went over, and then they're over in the median of the highway, just grazing.
Just chilling. See, that's
Yeah,
just we don't have that, and that I must admit, and that is the cool thing about the whole tag system. is the fact
Right.
that you place a value on animals. And
Right.
that to me is, as a hunter who does really value animals, that to me is huge.
Yeah. Well, we'd really love to have you out here, Phil. It's been great getting to know you. Um, get us some cool pictures of the Alps up from your trip
Yeah.
tomorrow, and happy birthday to you. And it's really been cool getting to know you, getting to know a little bit more about New Zealand, and maybe we should trade some phone numbers and stay in touch a little bit. And
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
maybe when you get maybe when you get a couple good animals under your belt here with Niff, and maybe we should maybe when Niff gets his first animal, maybe we should schedule another podcast, and we won't tell him what we're doing, and we'll
Yeah.
we'll get Niff on to talk about his all his misses and his final connection there on the
That'd actually be
something he gets.
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be fun, man. I'd really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any of your bros, wife? Say hello.
Yeah, no, I'll just definitely say big thanks to my wife of all the people to say thank you to. Without her, I couldn't do what I do. It's really cool having a partner that is able to look after the kids and just be really super awesome and super supportive when I'm out there doing something I love doing. I know it can be trying at times being married to someone like me, but a big, huge thanks to her.
Right on. Yeah,
And
cool,
obviously,
man.
just quickly to my kids, Josiah and Malachi, guys, you're awesome. Um, you guys are so much fun to hang out with, so much fun to play with. I love watching you boys grow up. You're top kids, top kids.
Yeah, it's fun seeing your pictures of your kids too. They're pretty neat kids.
Yeah, they mean the world to me. Of all the things, like if someone told me I had to go out hunting tomorrow to hang out with them, it'd be drop of a hat. Wouldn't even think about it.
Right.
Those kids to me mean absolutely everything.
That's awesome. You're a good husband, good dad. Appreciate it. Now, where can people find you on Instagram?
So I am Phil underscore Uden NZ High Country. I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. Yeah, I don't know.
And
I
what
said
about
this.
your what about your YouTube?
My YouTube's tiny. I think it's just Phil Uden. And right now it's just got a whole lot of real random stuff on there because it's like explosions with fire and like one or two hunting videos. I'll try and put some more stuff like that up. YouTube for me is not exactly a massive thing. I'm too lazy. We are trying to get more into doing it. But
Right.
like I said to your producer, I have no idea what anyone would want to follow me. I have no idea what anyone would want to watch what I do. I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a nobody. I just post up stuff that I like doing. If other people like it, cool. But the whole follower thing for me seems so bizarre that anyone would
Right.
want to watch what some little backwater Kiwi does. To me, just seems so weird.
I like it because it's a different world than mine. It,
Yeah,
and that's what I enjoy following you for. But I also enjoy following you because we have the same values. We
yeah,
appreciate wilderness. We appreciate the animals. We have a spiritual connection with God. We love our families, and we live for pushing ourselves and being in the wilderness and challenging
yeah.
ourselves and being
I get
fit
that.
and hunting. And so, it's just super cool knowing that you have connections with people that do the same things on the other side of the world. And
Yeah, that's
seeing
so true.
seeing the animals, seeing the countryside, just seeing the different just, I just love every piece of the world, right? There's something amazing going on everywhere in this world. And I
Yep,
mean, there's
that's it.
there's good and there's bad and there's ugly and whatever, but um, there's so many places I'll never get to go to. I'll never even know what it looked like or what it meant or anything. But through social media, you get to feel and
Yep.
see and be a part of something that you may never be able to afford a plane ticket to. So I think that's where the followers come in, you know.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I agree with
Yeah.
that. So maybe you're right.
Every now and then. Every now and then. Well, Phil, thanks so much. I appreciate your time this morning. I'll let you get to work. I know it's morning time there. I'm surprised your brother hasn't come in and tried to,
Yeah,
you
8:30.
know.
8:30. I think the office lady Nicole has just turned up now.
Sweet. Well, it's a good time to let you go. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Be safe on your journey on your birthday and good luck. And if you don't get to shoot at nothing, then I guess just soak it up.
Yeah, pretty much. Thank you very much.
Right on, Phil. We'll catch you later. Thank you.
Cheers, bud. Thank you very much. See
Cheers.
ya.
What a great show. Appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or ugly, please go to wildernessattitude.com and drop me a message there. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.